Hello again, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us for another episode of What's in Your Shop. We're looking at the C10 today, and we're looking at putting a new ESC on it. We're going to go with the Fury Tech. It's FUR-272 on the Fury Tech tag, and that's a direct Fury Tech tag, but I did get this ESC through Maz Designs. I'm positive of it. That's where I love to shop. So, support the guy. He makes really cool stuff. There's a Maz chassis sitting on those tires right there. And anyhow, this truck had one of those cheap Amazon 2 for $15 brushed ESCs in it. And then it has the micro receiver that goes to my GT5. So I decided, well, it's got a micro in it, a receiver in it already. Let's just get another Fury Tech, and then it'll run really nicely. Because the motor that's in it is pretty good. It's a really good 050 brushed motor it's the Samix motor. I have two of them. I have one in this truck and one in the Gladiator. And so, on the road to going brushless throughout your systems, you got to get ESCs for them. So we got the Lizard Pro that we're going to throw in here. We're just going to take the body off to make this a little bit easier to work on, so it's not flopping around. You know how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. Just been meaning to do this for a while. I put a ramp crab. I know, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. I put a ramp crab servo in this truck a week and a half ago or whatever, and it just twitchy and jumpy and steering moving back and forth like a ghost. And I'm like, okay, it's probably the servo, but it possibly the ESC as well. So I'd been planning to throw an ESC in this rig, and I just have been lazy about doing it. Finally got the tires back on it that I wanted, so it's been sitting here looking pretty with some Maz Designs OG double stars on there, and a new set of those Crawler Master MTs. I just like the profile of them. And I mean, look at them. They got good squish, they got some grip here. And it seems like they put a softer foam in them this time around. And this is just that ESC. And look at all the tail on it, all that wire, that big heavy gauge. It's all, see ya. So, really looking good over there, posing up for pictures. And then that's what we're replacing that with, right? So it's But I'm running a brush motor in it, so what you want to do is cut that little tab off. I mean, unless you have you want to pay like $12 or $16 to Fury Tech for a plug, an adapter plug. But you can just cut the little tab off the guide slot tab. And then I put the positive to the middle of the plug, and we'll see that here in a few minutes, in a minute or so. It took me a second to shave this off. I'm just trying to be real nice and gentle, not cut my hand, not cut the plug, not damage in the plug at all, other than just removing the little slot tab that's the guide slot, or it's the guide tab on that goes into the slot of your ESC or your battery connector, whatever that type of PS2 is connecting to, or PH2 is connecting to. Because the one that is on the Fury Tech is like a PH3, right? It's a 3-prong, but it shows you in the diagram, that you can go to 2-prong, and then I just shaved it so that it will go in correctly, because its slot is in the middle, and I make sure I'm lining it up correctly. It takes me a second. It was a little, I didn't want to be too forceful with it and bend a prong or anything, but I didn't want to, I just want to make sure everything's lining up. And I unfortunately don't have a good camera angle on it, but it is, and I get it plugged right in, and it's nice and secure and snug, just like I knew it would be. This thing's it's not a basher, although this thing was kind of my rock racing truck, so to speak. It clicks and clacks off the rocks pretty good. So, yeah. And this is my original truck. This is the first truck I bought. This is what got me into the hobby. Like I literally ordered the truck and a set of wheels from Amazon or something, and then had been watching some lives and some just a month and a half of deep diving YouTube, learning about it, and I'm glad I got into this scale of car because I've been able to build a bunch of them. If I got into 10th, I'd probably only build one, but. And putting that ramp crab servo in here, it was just a way of being able to keep this chassis just the way it is. And I couldn't. I have an NSDRC sitting there, a couple of them actually. One for the build in the back corner and one for this. It's designated for this truck, but it wouldn't really fit between the stock frame rails with the front bumper mount the way I have it, and I just didn't want to change it, so I just bought a $12 servo to throw in here just so I could drive it, and so my nephews could drive it if they came over. Actually, what I was thinking, but it runs off the GT5, so kind of one of those things where I almost need another GT5 at this point to be able to run a couple of these trucks at one time. Because some of these are my favorites, and you can't run all the favorites at once. They almost all run on the GT5. So we're getting our Bluetooth hooked up. We got all our modules hooked up. We hooked up to the ESC to the micro receiver with the little yellow and black, and we ended up using our battery tail because we're using a short battery up front, but we might not in the future. I usually use a flat battery in this truck. And I'm just showing you, it says that this is how you can do it. They may use a different plug style than I did, but you can see how well it plugs in. Positive to the middle. Right? Positive to the middle. And honestly, I think all it would do, if you had the black to the other side, like if I flipped it, positive still would be to the middle, and it was flipped, your motor would just spin the other way. So it's just a reverse polarity. There's no power from anyway, just showing you that it's all connected, named C10. I already had the C10 in there, but now I'm reprogramming it to this. It's already programmed to the receiver. So once I got everything plugged in and batteried up, then I had to shut down the camera so I could get into my FuryTech app and change some parameters. And what I changed and what they tell you to change, it's really simple. You just have to make sure to go in and, if your firmware is not updated, update your firmware. And then, of course, you want to change the motor configuration. And so I had done that already, and then so this is already a configured setup right here. And what I hadn't done yet was change my throttle curve, so I went ahead and did that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put her back together so we can do some running. So I had my Bluetooth attached, and I set my throttle curve and set all the parameters the way I wanted it, told it that it's a brushed motor, not a brushless motor. And we made sure that all of the forward and reverse was good, double checked the throttle and the brake and all of that, and calibrated the throttle, and then she's ready to go. And here we are on the table, ready to put it back together. Put a little Loctite on those screws because they're going to metal. They were not Loctited before. And I knew that because I had been working on this truck and changed some hardware out. But I knew I was getting back to it. So yeah, it's like I said, this is a really fun truck. It's weighted very interestingly. I don't remember the exact weight on it. It's probably changed now that it has a different ESC in it. So let's see what we get. 410, no battery. And here we are. We went outside to the outdoor amphitheater real quick. It's nice to have the shop close by. And looking very nice in the rocks here, people. It looks real good. I actually think I'm going to take those boulder bars off and run it I think that's going to bring it down into the 360 category or something like that. Maybe only 380. And see how it does. But those are very down low, non-rotational, good weight down there. We'll see. I like it the way it is. I've always liked this truck. This ESC really makes it a pleasure to drive. I'm may need to adjust my throttle curve a little bit, but that's all just personal preference. You know the way you like it to react to your trigger control, and where you want the power in the curve, up high or down low, how you want it to crawl. So, but it feels pretty good, and it looks looks pretty good out there. So thanks again. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, share this if you have a friend that's into these trucks. If not, get out there and build one for yourself. Thanks. Cardboard Crawlers out.